Well, good morning.
Morning.
You know why he didn't want to say anything? Because I know too much on him. That's what it is. I was going to get the last word today. So, yeah. Just today. So, he's a little smarter than he looks. But, no, we have, let's see. How long have we known each other for the weeks? It's been, probably 30 years now.
Well, Moses introduced me to you.
Yeah, exactly. So I've known him for about 30 years, so I was 3, and and he was 60. But no, see, only friends can be like that, right? Now he was 30, or he was 60. Miss Mary was 30, so that was So I got to stay on her good side, but that's it. So, no, but I'm very glad to be here today. Glad to have the opportunity to share with you. I want to ask you to do something for me, though. I want you to go ahead and take your Bible, your phone, whatever it is that you look up the scriptures on for messages. And I want you to go ahead and turn to 1 Samuel chapter 25. Now, when you get there, you just put a bookmark or pause it or however it is you save a spot. And you just kind of wait there because we're going to get there in a few minutes. But when we get there, I'm one of these that once I get my foot on the accelerator, I don't like to hit the brake. So I'm just going to charge right on in. I want you don't have to be searching for it when we get there. So 1 Samuel chapter 25. So, but I want to take a few minutes and share with you about the ministry of Texas Baptist Institute Seminary. Now, for some of you, you know too much about it, right, Brother Weeks? What years did you go there?
56 through 60.
56 to 60, yeah. We've been around a while. We were there for him. How long? But our school started in 1948. I'll give you one little interesting little trivia fact about our school. Our school actually, they were already teaching some Bible classes in another community not far from us, that they were kind of wanting to develop a seminary out of it. But there was a couple that were members of Calvary Baptist Church of Henderson who had started a business school for GIs coming back from World War II. And they got VA certified to receive, so students could use the GI Bill at their business school. That was a big thing after World War II. These guys they didn't get a chance to go to college. They didn't get a chance to do all that. So schools popped up everywhere trying to help get them training. They took those Bible classes and attached them to the business school, and that was where our seminary started. Okay? So our seminary started as a retraining school for those coming back from World War II. So that's how far back we go. Now, sometimes people ask about, you've been around a while and all that, but, how's your, how do people do things there? Well, I'll put it to you this way. We've been around since 1948. The first president served for 2 years. We are now on president number 3. Okay? So since 1950, we've had 2 presidents. So we struggle with longevity and stability at our school, okay? The second president was from 1950 to 1972 when he died. And the one we currently have started in 1972 and is still there today. He will be 95 in March. Amen. And he still works 5 days a week and still pastors a church at 95. Okay? And he is our memory. If we can't remember, hey, who pastored or who was this guy? We don't remember, but we go ask him. He remembers. Okay? And in fact, for the weeks you lived with him while you were in school, right? So that's how far back. So that's a little bit of history about our school and about where we came from and where we are. But this is part of our campus right there. We have a little over 10 acres of a campus. This building down here, this is our main school building and administrative offices and things. Back here is student housing. We've got a park back here. We have other housing that's back over here. We have other housing that's across this street over on the other side of the street over there. We have about, I think it's 29 or so apartments and houses that are available for students. And so we've been very blessed to have what we have. We're looking forward to utilizing more of that 10 acres of space in the future. But right now we're pretty pleased with what we have, and it's been a great blessing to have what we have. But people say, okay, you're a small school in a small town. Really, what kind of an impact can you have? Okay. Well, and this is not going to be 1,000% accurate, and I know 1,000% is really not a thing. It's 100 or less. But anyway, but it gives you an idea. So you're going to see some red stars dropping down, and that's going to represent where the majority of our current students are from or are living right now. And you'll notice those came down way over here on this right-hand side too, because we do have the ability, we have the status to be able to have international students. We have 5 international students on campus right now. A married couple from Brazil, a young man from Belize, a young man from Japan, and one from the interior of Mexico. So that adds a lot of flavor to our school to have that in a lot of different ways. It's really neat to see where we had a young couple who moved to us from the extreme backwoods of East Texas, okay? Y'all know some people like that? That they didn't know that Walmart existed? No, not really, but they knew Walmart. But, just real, make cornbread look city-fied, okay? That they were country. But they are now at school, and the wife of this couple that came to school has become best friends with the wife of the couple from Brazil. And to see that friendship develop and to see those cultural horizons expand on both sides, because I can assure you the one from the backwoods has exposed this lady from Brazil to a lot of things she'd never heard of before either. But so it's just real neat to see that, and it's real neat to see how that grows over time and how they work in ministry together over years, because we've witnessed that. Brother Weeks and Miss Mary, you've got ministry friends all over the world because of TBI, and it's just a neat thing. But let me show you this though. So what difference do we make? That's the current difference, but what difference do we make? These stars, and they're going to be hard to see, but this represents where former students are currently ministering today. Not where they have been and left people and all that, but where we have current students today. And this is not all of them, but this represents a lot of them. You'll notice those stars are spanning the globe. Okay? And that means that today, on this particular Sunday, there's someone who attended TBI who is currently sharing the gospel in those parts of the world today. Okay? So what difference can a small school in a small town in rural East Texas make? Well, that's a global impact right there. And that's not even representing those who had gone somewhere and established something and left it, and they're nationals or locals who are doing it now. That's actually our students that are there. So that's just giving you an idea of what impact our school can make to ministry. And to say, people say, well, we've had people argue that school is not really a mission project. Is that not missions right there? That's the definition of missions, right? To spread the gospel around the world. And so that's exactly what we're trying to do. And so we offer on-campus learning, and you saw part of our campus there. And we offer classes Tuesday through Friday on campus, and it's a neat environment. It's neat to be in the classroom and all that kind of thing. But then we've also got our School of Business Learning. And this is something that we're in the process of growing, where we're opening our education, and we've got it. Why not share it? And technology is there to do that. And people say, yeah, that's the way of the future. No, that's right now. That's actually that's not even new anymore. So, but we are growing that side of our school where through opportunities for students to do courses on their own pace, or when I say on their own pace, we used to do it that way where you just signed up and you finished when you wanted to. We quit that. People say, well, good, I can do my stuff anytime I want, right? Yeah, as long as it's within within these 12 weeks that we assign you, yes, you can do it. And these assignments are done during this week. You can do it anytime during that week, okay? But one of the things that we're real excited about that we're doing is by this summer, we will have all of our classrooms equipped with cameras and with the ability to do live stream video. We've been live streaming some courses, but a lot of them now we're just archiving the video. So we're recording the video and we're putting it up so that people can watch the lectures later. We will gradually grow that to where the live stream option will be there. And live stream means that a student can be in wherever and they can participate in the class discussion. Okay, it's like they're sitting in the classroom. I've been the guinea pig for this for the last couple of years. I've been teaching all of my classes that way. And I had one class where I had no on-campus students, but I had 4 off-campus students. And it's like, well, they were all on the screen, and they were all live. So I called it my Brady Bunch class, okay? Because I had these little boxes on the screen, and we were just talking back and forth, and they could see each other, and I could see them, and they could see me. And the even greater thing about this is, or other potential that it grows, is that I actually taught classes from Tokyo. Okay, I was in Tokyo. I taught my classes. The only problem with that was the class met from 12 to 2 a.m. Tokyo time. And I had one night in there during that trip that about 11 o'clock that night I sent a mass email and I said, the spirit is willing but the flesh is weak. The class was dismissed today. I got to go to bed. So I was just too particularly tired that day. But you see the opportunities that opens. And we're very excited about where that's going. Now, to give you an idea of what our school is doing and where we have come from, we have made a lot of changes and done a lot of work over the last 5 to 6 years to really do a lot of things to improve our school and to set our school up for being around for the future. And to give you an idea of where we were, in August of 2010, we started our school year, we enrolled 25 students. That's not very many, you're correct. 25 students, and we had 14 faculty members. Talk about a good student-teacher ratio now. That's pretty, you don't get any better than that. It'd be hard to get better than that. But obviously that's not where we want it to be. Okay? Now, by nature of the fact that we specialize in training people for ministry, we don't teach nursing or accounting or any of that other stuff. We specialize in ministry training. By nature, it's probably not gonna. We're not gonna be Sam Houston. Okay, just not gonna happen like that. But 25 is extreme. Now, that's about the time we really said, okay, we got to do something, or we're not going to exist anymore. So we started a big effort, and now I'm happy to say that in August of 2017, we enrolled 78 students. So in 7 years, we more than tripled our enrollment. Okay. So that's, and you say, well, yeah, it's still only 78. Yeah, but when you came from 25, that's pretty good, So, and we're not satisfied with that. And we're continuing to work on that. So, some of these things are the ways that we're able to do that and what we're trying to do to grow. One of the things that we did is we began seeking outside accreditation. Our school had been around for years and we had never been accredited by an outside accrediting agency, but that was by design. They were just a school of thought that we didn't want to do that, and I can tell you that over the history of how accreditation works, a lot of times you didn't want to be done that way. But we were able to find the Association for Biblical Higher Education, and we decided to jump in with them. And you'll notice there it says applicant status. That's where we are right now, is applicant status. You say, well, that means you turn in an application. Not hardly. And people say, and by the way, of our schools that are associated with the American Baptist Association, we currently do not have any schools that are accredited by an outside agency. Okay? And it's always been by design. They have never sought outside accreditation. Well, one of them did, but that's another story. But one of the main reasons, or two of the main reasons that none of our schools have ever done that, and why we haven't done it, because it is a whole lot of hard work. Okay? Brother Chris can vouch for that. It's a lot of hard work just to keep it. It's much less to get it. But this can be as much as a 13-year process to go from scratch to finished. And then every 10 years, you have to re-up. You have to do something every year, then every 10 years, you have to re-up. Okay? So it can be up to a 13-year process. We're happy we just completed year 3. But applicant status can go as long as 5 years. Now, we are waiting for, in February, the Commission on Accreditation will meet. We have submitted a self-study to them. That is the equivalent of writing a doctoral dissertation. It's the equivalent of writing a doctoral dissertation and having to write the library that you research out of to write the dissertation all at the same time. Okay, so it was a year-long process to write this self-study. We got that accomplished, got it submitted, and we're waiting for the commission to meet in February that will give us, hopefully will be assigning us a site visit team to come in the fall of 2018. And if that goes well, which we're doing everything we can to do what we're supposed to be doing, then that site visit team will come, and a year from now, or a year from February, so February 2019, we hope to be going from applicant to candidate. Okay? You think, wow, 4 years just to get to candidate, all right? But that's what we would do. Now, that is a huge step to go to candidate, because at that point they're saying you are on track, and for a lot of, you actually have a lot of rights and privileges that grow out of being candidate status. So you are accredited by certain things, Department of Education being one of them, that they recognize you as being, an official school at that point. So that's a big thing that we've done, and we've seen a lot of positives out of that. Now, let me assure you one thing, and this is something that people always ask, and this is one thing we're dedicated to. They will not ever tell us what to teach. Okay? We're not going to change what we teach. Guaranteed. And here's one way you know that. This is an Association for Biblical Higher Education. They accredit higher education schools that believe in the Bible. But they accredit all flavors of denominations and schools of thought and doctrinal statements, okay? As long as they believe that the Bible is the infallible Word of God, and their teaching is based on that. As far as your specific doctrine, they don't get involved in that, okay? There's no way they could, because if they did, how could they accredit all these people who teach different stuff? So we know by their history, which they've been around since about 1945. So through their history, they have never done that, and they don't intend to now. We just went to a meeting with them on Thursday this week, and they reassured us again that was never going to happen. So they don't meddle in what we teach. What do they meddle in? They meddle in how do we administrate our school? How do we maintain our standards? How do we match up and make sure that what we do meets higher education standards and makes it equal with what other schools do, and they are there to say yes and to tell the world we are a legitimate school. Okay? So that's a big thing that we have done. Now, another thing we have there, and I'm going to tell you, this is worth the trip to Henderson. Okay? It's not 2.5 hours from here to Henderson, but you need to come and see the Antiquity Encounter Museum. Okay? Dr. John Watson is the curator. He's a faculty member. He does lecture series with us. He lives about half the time in Israel and half the time in East Texas. And he has brought his personal collection. There are about 2,500 artifacts in this museum. And these artifacts, some of them date back to the time that Adam and Eve would have been alive on the earth. Okay? What this does for you, it doesn't shake your faith. It doesn't do anything like that. It solidifies your faith. But the big thing it has done for me is it has changed the video in my mind. Okay? Y'all all have the video in your mind as you read the Bible, right? I mean, and I've always said heaven needs to have a video room. I want to see the party of the Red Sea without Charlton Heston. I want to see the walls of Jericho come down. I've got the picture in my head, but I want to see what it really looked like, okay? So I don't least here I can say, hey, wait a minute, when the Bible talks about this piece of, this artifact is what they're talking about. This is what it looked like. This is how big it was. This is all those things, okay? Now, I can tell you, if you're willing to make the trip up there to take a tour of this museum, I can tell you it will definitely be worth the price of admission because tours are free, okay? So it will be worth the cost of admission. Here's the thing. Dr. John, being that he does travel back and forth between the two countries, you know, he's in and out. You can try to schedule with him when he's in country, but even when he's in country, he's out speaking a lot and doing different speaking engagements. So, if you get him to do the tour, his tours last anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 days. Okay? And that's the truth, okay? And we've had people come, when he's there, they spend 2.5 to 3 hours, okay? But we had a group came not long ago, and they came to Henderson and ate lunch and wanted to start the tour right after lunch. So they came right after lunch. They stayed so long that when they finished, they had to have dinner before they left. Okay, they stayed like 6 hours. Okay, you can do that, but if he's not there, then you get me. When you get me, my tours last a maximum of an hour and a half. Okay, because that's all I know about that stuff. Okay, I am out of soap at that point. So, but you know, I can tell you that gives you a good taste, and then you really want to dig in, then you can come back when he's there and see the rest of it. But we can handle about 20 to 25 people at a time in the museum, and so I tell you, it's a neat little trip just to put you a group of folks together and come up, take a look around, and learn some stuff. It's amazing what you learn when you do that. Now, like I said, he is actually a missionary in Israel. He's there. He's there under the cover of archaeology, but he does mission work there, and he's trying to reach people in Jerusalem. So here's a little bit example. Some of our student housing. We have some standalone houses and some regular apartments, some triplexes and quadplexes, stuff like that. Our storerooms, we have closed storeroom, we have food pantries, people donate different things to that. That's just a great help for those who come on campus and come full-time. It's very difficult. Most of them come with a family, and so we have food there that helps them because they can't work it's hard to work a full-time job and do that, and so that just helps out, and so it's just a real neat thing. Now, I get to this, and that's a picture of this right here, and so this is a capital fundraising goal we have going on right now. Part of what we have done through our accreditation stuff is it's really made us re-examine what we do and what we have. And one of the things, and I'll tell you this, our library, our president has been complaining about our library for years. Okay? He's wanted us to pay attention to our library for a long time. Well, this is actually pushed us because one of the standards of accreditation is solely about library. And so we are in the process of trying to raise $100,000 to do a remodel renovation of our library. And I'll tell you this, and you say, well, okay, for those of you that don't know anything about our schools, that, well, you're just like every other school, you're always out there trying to do some kind of capital fundraising campaign to build buildings and do all this other stuff. I can tell you that the last time we did something like this to try to raise money to build a building was in the 1980s. Okay? We don't typically do that. Now, I can hopefully that we're going to do this, and then hopefully within the next year or two, we're going to be doing something again because we're going to have so many students, we got to build more buildings. Okay? That's our goal. But right now, this is what we're doing. What we're planning to do, about $55,000 or so of this $100,000 is going to be for the actual physical remodeling. We're going to remodel.
Yes, years.
Yeah, are they helicopters? Black helicopters coming after us? I don't know. So, at first I thought it was somebody with a flat on the interstate out there, but that's what. Okay, as long as it doesn't blow up, we're good. So anyway, but that's going to be for the physical remodel, and then we're going to be, then we have to have new furnishings, new study areas, things like that, and then we're adding new technology and things to it. That's inside.
It's the sound system.
Is it the sound system? Okay. They're looking for. I'm not using it anyway, so. Oh, it's getting louder. He's catching us. Ah, there it went. It landed. There. Uh-oh. Now we're in real trouble. They have landed. Okay. So about 55,000 or so for the actual physical remodel, and then furnishings and things, and then we're also going to be adding about $20,000 to $30,000 worth of new resources to the library as well, to just upgrade it and get it to where it needs to be able to support our curriculum in a big way. Okay, so that's what we're doing, and the timeline on this is that we're trying to raise this money by May, because our plan is. If we're going to have that site visit team, one of the things is that they want to see that you're making progress. So if we can show them, hey, we have a brand new renovated library, that's going to help us move to that next level. We got it. It's all good. It was an internal helicopter, not an external. So, but like I said, we're trying to do this by May. And the thing is, we'll have to do this renovation and remodel during the summer. And so, if we don't do it this summer, it'll have to be the next summer, or whenever. So the quicker the better. So the plan right now is that the last couple of weeks of the school year, we'll start taking books off shelves, and we'll start doing that kind of thing. And our graduation is on June the 2nd. On June the 4th, the demo crews will arrive to start with the demo and all that for the physical part of the remodel. Okay, so that's what we're trying to do. Anything you can do to help us in that would be greatly appreciated, not just by us, but by our students and future students as well. So that's Texas Baptist Institute Seminary in a nutshell. Okay, what do we do? What are we saying? Well, yes, we're trying to raise funds for this remodel and everything, but we also need funds on a regular basis as well. You know how that goes with any school. But our students, we do this in a strategic way. Our students do not leave burdened down with debt. Okay? We charge an extremely low tuition. Josh and I had that conversation. Yes. And on top of that, and here's what we do. Our school has been supported by churches affiliated with the American Baptist Association for years. So we have always made our education extremely cheap for those who come recommended by an ABA church. And when I say extremely cheap, I just throw the numbers out there. Our stated tuition rate is $125 a credit hour. Okay? You can't even look at most schools for less than $300 a credit hour. Okay? And so it's $125 a credit hour. And then for online students, if you come recommended by a church affiliated with the American Baptist Association, you get a 50% discount off of that. If you come on campus, you get a 75% discount off of that. Okay? Do that math. That is dirt cheap. Okay? You're not going to get an education anywhere that cheap. Alright? So, why are we able to do that? It's because churches and individuals send on a regular basis in order for us to be able to continue. And so that's what we're about, that's what we do. That's why we need your help and support, is so that we can keep that tuition low. Now, what do I tell people? My favorite thing to say is I'm the business guy, okay? And so I like to say it this way. We can go out, we can raise our tuition and be like all the rest of them, we can do all that, and then our students can have to take out student loans and other things to be able to do it. Or we can continue to raise support and donations, and our students can leave without the debt. So here's the thing. Eventually, this church is going to need a new pastor. Right, Brother Chris? Eventually. Now, probably 60 years or so from now, they're going to need a new one, right? But eventually, you're going to need a new pastor. The likelihood that that new pastor is going to have gone to TBI is somewhat high. It didn't happen this time, but it's happened before, okay? So I look at it this way. You can help pay for your future pastor's education now without interest, or you can help him pay it with interest after the fact. Okay? And help him pay off his loans when he's done. Okay? So that's that. That's kind of, I don't know about you, but I hate paying interest, don't you? So that's why we like to work on the cash basis, and that's what we're doing. So that's it in a nutshell. I don't have anywhere else to be today, so I'll be happy to stay as long as you want, answer any questions you want. Brother Chris and Josh have already asked all the questions that I can answer for them, so they're done. So the rest of y'all have me for the rest of the day. So yeah, yeah, and you know how that can be, right? So he's not done yet. Okay, that's fine. But everybody else takes priority because they have their shot. All right, so I'm here. But I told you that 1 Samuel chapter 25. Now I want to get into this here, and here's the thing. I'm going to guess that I'm not the first person to come through here and stand in this spot and show you pictures and talk about ministry and all that and ask you to give money. And would that be true? That I'm not the first one? Okay? Y'all all heard that. Y'all had missionaries, y'all had other people, y'all got one that's resident here that does that, right? Brother Weeks, you do that how many weeks a month? As many as you can, right? And so, yeah, I know you do that. And I know when you see all this stuff and you see things, and I've had the opportunity to work in ministry. I've done ministry on 5 continents of this globe. I've helped get Seminary started in the Amazon jungle, got one started on the border of Belize and Guatemala, and all these other things. And so I show all the pictures and do all the stuff. And, you know, there's all this stuff that goes on. And I know that somewhere in the back of your mind, when some of these people come through, and maybe even me, when we look at all this, we would never say this out loud. But in our minds, somewhere along the way, there's a thought of, well, good for you, but what about me? Okay? Okay, you want me to give my money for you to go do what you do. Well, that's nice, but what about me? What am I getting out of this? Now again, we would never say that out loud in this place because that seems too selfish. But you know what? It's okay to be that way. It's okay to wonder, what does this, if you're going to invest in something, don't you want a return on that investment? Okay? So, yes, I'm asking you to invest in our school for the educating of those who will work in ministry. So you say, well, that's great, but if it's an investment, what do I get out of it? Well, you know what? And again, I know some of you are going, that just is too selfish. How do you even say such a thing? Well, if that's you and you've never had that thought, then you pray for the rest of us, okay? Because occasionally I've had that thought of, I wish I could be a part of that. Why do they get to do that? I don't, okay? But here's the thing. God takes care of that in His Word. You know that? Don't you always say that? We always tell you there's answers to things in His Word. Well, guess what? There's answers in there. So in 1 Samuel chapter 25, I want you to see, look at verse 13. We're going to tell a little story here. So, 1 Samuel 25:13. And David said unto his men, gird ye on every man his sword. And they girded on every man his sword. And David also girded on his sword. And there went up after David about 400 men, and 200 abode by the stuff. All right, now I'm not going to ask for a show of hands, but how many of you did not know the word stuff was in the Bible? Okay, there you go. There it is in black and white. It's not the red letters, but it's in the black ones. Okay, so what happened here? Well, let me back up. Any of you guys in here ever play football? Yeah, we all had the mandatory football, or most did, okay? You ever been in that locker room before a game, getting dressed, getting geared up? Oh man, isn't that awesome? Get in there and you're getting all your junk on, getting your stuff on, getting taped up, getting all this. Any of you ever do all that and then stand on the sideline the whole game? Okay? I've been told that there are men that'll spend 3 weeks geared up for a 30-minute fishing trip. Okay? Now, ladies, I've been told there are women that'll spend a month planning a half a day shopping trip too, but that's another, okay? I don't know, working that elbow to get that credit card swipe going, I don't know how that works, but anyway. But, you know, sometimes the best part of a trip is the gearing up, right? Isn't it fun, that anticipation, and you're getting everything together, and, you know, it's doing all that? But have any of you ever been planning to go out on a trip somewhere, and you're getting all geared up, and at the last minute you didn't get to go? Yes. Oh, man. Isn't that the worst? It just doesn't get any worse than that. And what's even, well, it does if the other people you were going with go without you, right? That's even worse. And that's when we'll go, well, that's fine, y'all go ahead. I don't care. It's fine. You don't have as much fun without me, but that's okay. Y'all have a good time. And we sulk the whole time they're gone, right? And then when they get back and they start talking about what a good time they have, you just sulk even more, don't you? Okay? And it's terrible. But here we see, here's David. He's got an army of 600 men. He's got this army and he says, all right, guys, gear up. We're going to war. Now, for a soldier, there's nothing more exciting than gearing up for war. Okay? Now he says, gird on your sword. I was going to demonstrate that, but I really don't know how to gird on a sword. Okay? And you probably wouldn't want me demonstrating it. But they were girding the sword, and they were getting that game face on. They were war paint, you know, whatever it was, they were geared up for war. And then here they are, all 600 of them got geared up, right? They all girded on their swords and got their stuff together. They're ready to go to war. And then right as they're getting ready to leave, David says, all right, you 400 over here, you're going with me. You 200 over here, you're staying here with the stuff. I can tell you, these people over here are mad at me because I made them the 200, okay? Because they want to go too. And we're not even going anywhere. But already you're upset with me because I made you the 200. It's like, well, I want to go too. Okay, but think about these soldiers. They're ready for war. Now he tells them, no, you got to stay here by the stuff. Now, why did they need to stay by the stuff? You know? You want, yeah, why?
So they don't get taken away.
So they don't get taken away, exactly. I mean, you know, you don't want to leave. So those 200 said, okay, your assignment is to stay here with the stuff. What stuff was it? Well, it was their families, their houses, their livestock, you know, it was all their stuff. He said, we're going to go fight, but you stay here and protect that. Okay? Now, so let's fast forward. Let me tell you what happens here. So they go out and they win that battle, they come back, it's all good. Well, then they go out for another battle, and he takes all 600 of them. Well, they all left. So guess what happened while they were gone? Can you guess?
They started following.
No. What happened?
They stayed there.
Somebody came in and took all the stuff because they didn't leave anybody there to protect it. Okay? So, now let's think about that trip you do go on. You've gone on this long trip, and isn't it amazing? The closer you get to home, the tireder you get. And by the time you get home, you're so tired you can't even stand up. Okay? I think what it is that in our minds, we've been all geared up about being on the trip, and then as we get closer to home, we start thinking about, oh, my chair. Oh, my bed. Oh, my. And so the closer you get to home, your body's already, and you're just melting as you go. And then when you get home, you just go and you just melt in the chair. Okay? I can tell you, I started out yesterday morning at about 8 o'clock. Drove to Dallas, had to drive back to Tyler, and then came here last night, and then here today, and then got to drive home, okay? My family already knows that this evening, when I get home, just stay out of the way. Just don't get between me and my recliner, okay? I'm going to sit for a little while when I get home, all right? It's been a weekend. I've been traveling. It's all good. I'm going to have about, 500 miles under my belt and 3 different events and all that. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna sit down for a while when I get home, and y'all gonna bring me a glass of tea, all right? That's just the way this is gonna work, and they know that already. And so, so here these guys were. They've been out fighting a war. You can imagine some of them are injured and, you know, all this. Now they're on their way back home. They're the same as us. Man, they're ready to get home, see their families, relax, do all that. Well, they get home and everything's gone. So they immediately have to turn around and go try to get their stuff back, right? So no rest. And some of y'all have experienced that too, haven't you, where you got home and you immediately had to turn around and do something else? That's a terrible feeling. But look at me, look with me in chapter 30, look at verse 10. So that's what happened. So then they're going to try to get all the stuff back. Verse 10 says, but David pursued, he and 400 men, for 200 abode behind, which were so faint they could not go over the brook Besor. Okay? So what happened? Here's two different occurrences where 400 went and fought and 200 stayed behind. The first 200 stayed behind because they were called to do so. Right? They were commanded to do so. The second time, the 200 stayed behind because they just physically could not do it. Alright? So what am I depicting here? Well, look at it this way. There are those who go and there are those who stay. Right? There are those who go out and do mission work in foreign lands or go do all this other stuff. And there are others who stay right here and go to Huntsville. Right? And some do that because it's their calling. Because if God called everybody, everybody says, oh, I don't want to give my life to God, I'll soon be a missionary in Africa. Well, if God sent everybody to Africa, what would happen here? He's got to leave somebody here, right? Because people here need the gospel as well. Okay? So it may be your calling to be right here in Huntsville doing what you're doing. Okay? But then on the flip side of that, it may be that just physically you can't. Whether it be health or maybe it's, you know, just situation of life, circumstances, whatever. Now, by the way, never should it be money. Don't ever say, well, I can't go do that because I don't have the money. Okay? I've done ministry in 30 plus states and 5 continents of this world. Okay? And I've been in ministry for the last 30 years or so. Where do you think I got the money? Okay? Money's not the issue. If God wants you there, He'll take care of that part. Alright? So if it's the money part, don't worry about that. I even have people say, oh, I'd love to go to the Amazon jungle with you and go do that. That's great. Oh, do I have to take shots? Really? Get over that. That's not the physical side. The physical side is you can't. Alright? So here's 400 went, 200 stayed. Now, let's look at what happened. Go down just a little further with me in chapter 30 to verse 22. So they got all the stuff when they came back. Now they have it all together. It says, then answered all the wicked men and men of Belial of those that went with David and said, because they went not with us, we will not give them aught of the spoil that we have recovered. Now let's stop right there for a second. What did they do? The 400 that went and got all the stuff back, they came back and they said, wait a minute, it's time to divvy it all up. Those 200 that didn't go, they don't get anything. Well, it makes sense, right? They didn't do anything. So why should they go? Now, or why should they get anything? Now, have any of you ever made some bold statement like that and about the time it rolled off your tongue, you realized maybe you spoke a little too big? You ever had that happen to you? I think this may be that case. There's a comma right there, and that means a pause. And I'm just going to say that I think, just my personal opinion, I think as they paused in that statement, I think they heard a baby cry. Okay? I think there was a baby cry. Why? Because they said, we're not giving them anything! And it says, well, say to every man his wife and his children, that they may lead them away to depart. Okay? When they went and got everything, they got everything, right? They got the women, the children, the livestock, the money, everything they had. So here was the thing. They were like, we're not giving them anything. Then they heard a baby cry, like, ooh, I don't want their kids and their wives. You can take them and lead them away from here. I'm not going to do that. So they said, you can have them, but we're keeping everything else. 3. Then said David, "Ye shall not do so, my brethren, with that which the Lord hath given us, who hath preserved us and delivered the company that came against us into our hand. For who will hearken or who will listen to you in this matter? But as his part is that goes down to the battle, so shall his part be that tarrieth by the stuff. They shall part alike." And it was so from that day forward that he made it a statute and an ordinance for Israel unto this day. What did he say? He says, listen, God, this was God's battle. God won this victory. God did this. Who are we to hold back what God has done? He says, no. Everyone parts alike. Everyone gets equal reward. Whether they went to the battle or they had to stay. Doesn't matter. Whether it was their calling or whether it was just they physically couldn't make it. They still get to share alike. Wow. So what does that mean for us? Well, let's just say that you don't ever get to go do international mission work. You don't get to go to the remote areas of the world or do this or that. But let's say that you supported financially or by encouragement or by prayer those that went. I showed you what our school has done. If you've had a part in what our school has done, whether it's financially or by prayer or by encouragement or by whatever, guess what? You stayed. They went. But they wouldn't have gone without you. You realize that people like me can't do what I do without people like you. It's not possible. So guess what? The one who's keeping the score is God. And He says, you're going to get equal to what they did. And you know what? I'm jealous of that because those that didn't go, they're going to get equal credit with me and they got to sleep in their own bed. How fair is that? That's not fair to me. No, but it is fair because that's what it takes. Now let me point this out to you. If it's your calling to go, and I don't know what go means for you. If it may be go down the highway or it may be go to the other side of the world. I don't know. But if it's your calling to go, you better go. Because I can tell you, God's not going to be pleased, and you're not either, if you don't go. But if it's your calling to stay, whether it's by just it's your calling or it's by you physically can't, and you're staying by the stuff, then let me tell you, you need to be the best stuff stayer that ever lived. Okay? I don't know, is that a word? Stuff stayer? I don't know. But you need to be the best stuff stayer that ever lived. And let me point something else out to you. Do you realize that the ministry and work that you do right here in this local church, you know it's twice as important as what I do? It's twice as important as what that missionary does on the other side of the world. What you do right here is twice as important. Why do I say that? Well, what happens if I quit doing what I do? Well, that affects those that want education, right? And that affects a group of people. If that missionary you support, if they quit doing what they do, what does it do? Yeah, it hurts that area, right? But if you stop doing what you do, if this dies, what happens? It affects here and there, doesn't it? Because we can't do without you, and so if you quit, guess what? Now it hurts both places. That missionary quits, it hurts there. You quit, you die, it hurts here and there. So what does that mean? That means your calling is doubly as important as theirs. I hope that's an encouragement to you. I hope that that's something that you go, wait a minute, I need to think about that. I really need to kind of move forward. Remember, whether here or there, you all get equal credit. Don't feel like, well, I'm just stuck here and I'm just doing my... No! God's keeping the score. Oh, and by the way, I think many times those who don't get credit here on earth, where are you getting your credit? See, all these people that are behind you, I'm up here in the front. I'm up here and people talk about, oh, look at what he does and all that. I'm like, shut up, man. You're robbing me of blessings in heaven. You know? I don't want credit here. I want it on the other side. But you know what? Those who are just steady and doing the work here and nobody necessarily notices, you don't get those pats on the back and all that, but you stay faithful, guess who's keeping the score? God is. God is. And He's going to reward you on the other side. I think you're going to be amazed at the reward you will receive on the other side. Because you didn't even know that you did anything. You didn't even know that what you did made a difference. But God knows. And He's keeping a record. So I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what your role is. I don't know what you're supporting, praying for, encouraging, whatever. I don't know what you're doing individually. I don't even know what you're doing as a church. Brother Chris and I haven't talked about it. It doesn't really matter. Okay? But what am I saying? I'm saying that, according to Scripture, you need to get busy. Because this is important. Because without this, none of that can happen. And by the way, if it's your calling, then man, you better get to doing, right? That's what God wants, whatever your calling is. So I just want to be here to encourage you today. Find what God is calling you to do and give it, whatever that is.
Hi, Pastor Chris here from Chapelwood. And when we say that Chapelwood is a church of people just like you, you may wonder who's attending Chapelwood. Well, we have everything from school teachers to recovering drug addicts. We have grandparents and cattle ranchers, former professional disco dancers to IT personnel and a resident missionary. We have single moms and insurance agents. We have special needs students and office workers. We have lawn care specialists, real estate agents, and stay-at-home moms. We have people who are retired and people who work every day down on the farm. We have people who work for Sam Houston as well as for TDCJ. We even have those who simply just volunteer and give their time to visitors at the state park. What you will find in Chapelwood is this: normal people who are imperfect people who have everyday life struggles just like you. And they're finding life's answers in the Bible, and you can too. So we invite you to join us at Chapelwood this Sunday, where we can love you just like Jesus loves us.